Don't have snow yet? Don't worry, you will. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson is tracking a powerful system that will stick around until morning.
The dumb mayor who thinks he can just sick his dogs on his own people.
Plus, Denver police release video of a city councilwoman disparaging officers, but keep footage of their own actions to themselves.
And Governor Polis opens the door for high school football to return this fall. Coaches are game.
Give us the guidelines, give us the restrictions, and we'll prove to you that we can make it work.
All right, listen up. We have some breaking news we need to start with. Broncos star linebacker Von Miller has suffered a lower leg injury in practice and right now is undergoing an MRI.
We won't know anything for certain until the results come back, but there are fears Miller's season could be over before it began. Our sports team is working its sources, and we'll have more later in the broadcast.
All right, now to the latest escalation in a feud between Denver police, leaders, and protesters.
The video to your left shows Councilwoman DeBaca berating officers during a homeless sweep last month. The police department says the footage is in the public interest and opted to release it today.
Now, they are not releasing video from the actual sweep. They say that's part of an ongoing investigation. And that footage presumably includes another angle of this moment when an officer appears to strike protesters indiscriminately with a baton.
Denver7's chief investigator Tony Kovaleski picks up the story from there.
They don't know. They barely know how to read. Right?
Explosive language from a Denver city council member.
They read the laws that they're enforcing. They don't know the difference between state laws and city laws and the Constitution.
It's body camera video obtained by Denver7 from a sweep of a Denver homeless encampment last month. Conflict between protesters, police, and Councilwoman DeBaca. Councilwoman DeBaca has said she was simply defending her constituents. The homeless camp was part of her district. Denver7 has learned her verbal attacks have led one police officer to file an employment discrimination complaint with the city.
They don't know They do what they're told.
No, I mean, I want y'all to speak for yourself.
Guard dogs.
But y'all,
they're just animals like pit bulls. They're guard dogs.
That language followed tense moments that included an officer swinging a billy club at protesters and moments where protesters appeared to be antagonizing officers. There are also questions about this segment of the body camera video.
I got something. Got one of their
Candy! During the incident, a body camera was dislodged from an officer's uniform and located by protesters. Sources say it was not turned in to police for 2 days. This is believed to be the voice of Councilwoman DeBaca.
There might be footage on there that we need, but I don't know how to access it.
Give it to you.
Milo, we could give it to the attorney.
Give it to the attorney.
Now, within the hour, Councilwoman DeBaca sent us a statement saying, in part, my comments were directed at officers who stood by while these inhumane events took place. The councilwoman also said the body camera was turned in to her and she returned it to DPD that next day. Denver's police chief released a statement that included, I am disappointed that an elected official would choose to use such disrespectful language when addressing Denver police officers. Also, Mayor Michael Hancock weighing in tonight. His statement included, it is up to the residents to decide if this behavior is appropriate. Shannon?
Tony Kovaleski tonight. Thanks, Tony. On to the weather now. The temp down 60 degrees from yesterday, and the snow is starting to pick up right now in the Denver metro.
Which means that unless you're that rare person who switches to snow tires in September, you should probably stay off the road later tonight.
All right, Liz Gilardi, Mike Nelson, and Addie Guajardo all with us to cover the storm this evening. Let's begin with Addie. She is in Centennial tonight at 6. Addie?
Well, Jessica and Shannon, it is absolutely cold out here right now. Just within the last hour, this rain turned into snow, and I want you to take a look off I-25. The snow is not yet sticking to the roads, but you could see it on some of the cars. You can also see the snow starting to stick to some of these plants and some of the roofs out here at some of the businesses. Xcel Energy tells us that they are bracing for power outages. Now, the latest update shows 19 outages have been reported in the Denver area, impacting just under 200 residents. It's unclear if all those have to do with this weather. Now, a spokesperson with the company tells me they're prepared with more than 500 employees and contractors. ready to restore electricity. Now, I also spoke with a tree expert who says it's just too late to do any tree trimming at this point and stressed the dangers of those big trees during this winter blast.
I do recommend not going underneath big trees like these in the background. As you can see, the large limb on the ground, those can come down at any time and can cause severe injury.
Now, he adds that those limbs cannot quadruple in weight due to the snow and the rain that's weighing them down. Now, if you experience a power outage, you can call your Xcel Energy, download the app, or even report it online. Now, Liz Gilardi is out in Idaho Springs. And Liz, you're just getting blasted by the snow.
Well, you know, it's been snowing for a couple of hours here in Idaho Springs, and it feels like winter in the high country. But where it really feels like winter is on the top of Berthoud Pass, and we took a little drive earlier today. The wind was just gusting. It was brutal. The snow was falling. It was flying. And man, it was cold. I know a lot of restaurants here, though, in Idaho Springs, they've had, you know, tables out on Main Street, people eating out on Main Street yesterday, and now today those tables are covered in snow, and this blast of winter weather is making restaurant owners think about their plans for the coming months.
It definitely is kind of a wake up. Like, you know, this winter is going to be pretty rough as far as how many people we can actually seat inside.
And that restaurant owner had 7 tables outside. He only has 5 tables inside, so he lost a lot of seating today. But some people are excited about the snow. Ski areas, Loveland A Basin received a dusting of snow today, so the race to open could in fact be on. And we're going to check in with Mike Nelson. Mike, I think this is the earliest I've ever got my snow pants out and my boots out since living in Colorado.
Doesn't happen before the middle of September very often, Liz. Let me show you what's happening right now in downtown Denver. Light snow falling, but you can see it's accumulated a bit on some of the rooftops at the state capitol. And as far as temperatures, we're 32 in the metro area, 32 up at Fort Collins, 34 in Greeley, 20 at Leadville. We have freeze warnings on the plains, heavy snow warnings in the mountains and foothills, and snow advisories over northwest Colorado. And you can see this band of snow moving in. There's a deep low pressure system over the four corners spinning the moisture up toward the northeast. That's what's moving our way. So good snow cover in the mountains. That's great for the moisture there, for the fire danger as well. And some pretty decent snow is expected over the metro area, which may accumulate to 3 to 6 inches total. Now, you probably never see that much piled up because the ground is so warm, but the lows will drop into the upper 20s overnight, flurries and cold for Wednesday. And again, we'll talk about that tree damage and the power outage that are possible. I'll have a few more tips for how you can protect your trees and your plants coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Mike. 5,700 Broncos fans will give Tom Brady a big Colorado welcome on September 27th. Governor Polis and Brittany Bolin announced today that season ticket holders and a select few others will be allowed at the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Much more on that story ahead in sports. But right now, we want to talk high school football and the possibility we could see it this fall after all.
The governor now says he would be thrilled to see some teams take the field this year. We say some because not every district may be eligible to play. Denver7's Russell Haythorne has our story.
The fall-like weather has returned to Colorado, and now it appears high school football will also be making a fall comeback.
We're excited about the opportunity.
Broomfield High Athletic Director Steve Shelton and others are thrilled about the state's policy reversal.
Give us the guidelines, give us the restrictions, and we'll prove to you that we can make it work.
Greetings, everybody.
The governor announcing today that high school football and other fall sports can return. The Colorado High School Activities Association planning to make an announcement Thursday on when practices and games could resume.
If their board moves forward and wants to propose a fall season for Chaza football, we would be thrilled to work with them to make that happen for the districts that are ready to go.
We talked to a high school head football coach who asked not to be identified. He believes this reversal rewards all the hard work and preparation.
It was hard to work with them in the summer and tell them, hey, if we wear masks, if we social distance, if we keep ourselves in smaller groups, if we don't work inside and use our weight room, you'll get to play. And our kids did all that. They expected to get this chance, and they're ready to go.
Colorado's decision also also falls in line with at least 35 other states now allowing high school football this fall.
Those states have all played games. A lot of them have done it with fans. The data that I've seen is showing that there hasn't been spikes related to that type of activity.
Providing them access to their friends, to exercise, to their peers, to something positive right now, it has a huge impact.
The question now is, which districts are ready to play? That will be up to each one to decide. Russell Haythorne, Denver7.
Douglas County School Superintendent Thomas Tucker has resigned from the district. Tucker says he's leaving for personal reasons and insists this was not him being pushed out. You can find more details on thedenverchannel.com.
Well, Denver Public Schools says it has not made a final decision on how it's going to handle snow days this fall. Now, that said, Superintendent Susanna Cordoba is heavily implying that since kids are already set up on laptops, well, the district may just switch to remote learning when the weather gets bad. Well, voters rejected new oil and gas setbacks in 2018. They may get them anyway. Denver7's Megan Lopez with that tonight.
Safely stowed away from the snowy rain mix happening outside, inside this Zoom meeting,
I believe the commission has within its authority
an important discussion about the future of the state's oil and gas development. Last year, legislators passed the highly controversial Senate Bill 181, which fundamentally changed the focus of the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission.
Moving from a mission of fostering oil and gas development to regulating it, and regulating it in a manner that's protective of public health, safety, welfare, wildlife, and the environment.
Now, a series of discussions on how exactly to do that. This week is focused on safety.
And most interesting is looking at setbacks. So how far would it be from a home or from a school?
Currently, setbacks are 1,000 feet for schools and child care centers. The new proposals would substantially increase that, and it would change setbacks from high occupancy buildings and 10 or more residential buildings to 1,500 feet. For oil and gas operators,
you now see a massive swath of land merge into one giant setback area.
the proposed change would hurt an industry that's already struggling during COVID.
The red dots you see on this map are actual well pads and wells that you would be saying should never have been drilled if you were to be so emboldened to choose a 1,500-foot setback.
Others disagree.
My name is Erin Martinez, and I am a survivor of the Firestone home explosion. I feel a strong sense of duty to Mark and Joey to make sure that we continue to make change.
Erin Martinez wants the new rules to go even further and apply the setbacks not just to drilling pads, but flow lines.
We need to move all infrastructure away from our homes in order to make us truly safe.
Commissioners will debate all of the new updates over the coming weeks and decide a new set of rules by October. Big changes for a big industry in Colorado. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.